Hello and welcome to the video number 8 of our NVIDIA Omniverse basic training. And today we are going to be talking about Product Configurator, which is one of the use cases for NVIDIA Omniverse that is creating a kind of showroom for your product or even for marketing purposes. The first thing we are going to see is how do we modify variants in OpenUSD. We already had a video talking about variants, but we are just going to refresh a little bit our memory. This is new. We will implement a variant controller in OmniGraph. So how do we manipulate these variants? Then we will add a node into our OmniGraph configuration with a listener to our keyboard to manipulate these variants or activate new variants from our keyboard input. Then we will see how to stream our Omniverse application into our web browser only locally for now. And finally, we will integrate our application into a React-based web application that will allow us to create a custom user interface with buttons. These buttons will be launching events, and our OmniGraph will be listening to these events to execute some flow, logic, whatever. For these two things, for the how to stream our application into a web browser, we will be using this template, and this React sample, we will use it as a template as well for the integrate our application into this React-based web application. So that's it. Let's go for it. Okay, so here we have the steps of my tutorial file. You can follow along following the steps in this file. And the first thing we have to do is to download these materials that we will need for this lab. I have done it already here. And the next thing we have to do is to launch USD Composer. Here I'm leaving the video, which is my first video, where you can see how to install USD Composer. I have already installed it, so I'm going just to launch it. This one. And then we will need to open the back assets folder, and we will run this USD file. So I'm going to stop the video while the application is loading. Okay, my application has loaded already, and I'm already landed in I have already opened my folder with the assets. So let's go and double click here. Give it a minute. Okay, so this is the camera view that we have. And if you go to Variant Presenter, if you don't see this tab here, you can go to Tools, Variants, and Variant Presenter. Okay, and then you will see this extension to appear. And to give a quick test, if you go to Active Back, this is the different backgrounds available that we have. And very quick, you can change the background for probably for marketing purposes, and we can also change the the color of the back. And the next thing we are going to see is how to add more variants. We already saw that in one of the previous videos, but we're going to refresh our memory just a bit. So because my memory is very bad, I'm going to follow the steps in my tutorial. So first thing we are going to do is to click the pencil icon for the LIDA variant set. This one. Okay. Then in the variant editor, click one of the variants and delete it. Okay. Doesn't matter which one I choose. I'm going to duplicate it. I'm going to rename it like blue or whatever you want. And then if you click here where you see the color here, let's select a nice blue, for example. And then we close it. Yeah, that's it. And now you have a new variant. That easy. Now the next exercise is going to be to modify the variant controller. So we will be able to change the variant from the keyboard. So let's open the action graph. Open graph. I'm going to move this a little bit up. A little bit more. Just a little refresher. With the middle button of your mouse, you can move around. You can zoom in, zoom out with the wheel of your mouse. And you can select any node, and with the F key, you can center it. Okay. Okay, so now we are going to add the logic to be able to change the color from the keyboard. And to do so, we are going to add the nodes here. This is an backdrop. Backdrops are spaces within your action graph to organize nodes, and then you can move all the nodes inside here as you wish. So you can separate different flows, or you can organize as you want. I want to remove this. So here in our guide file, you have all the steps explained one by one here, but if you want to move quicker and just go straight to the development, you can follow only these steps. So these are the nodes that we are going to be using for that. First, set variant selection. Drop it here. Then we need to add the target for the variant. So selecting the node, we add the target, configurable assets, select this prim, select the folder looks, and select. Then set the name leather. Here. Set variant. Yeah, This is to set the variant that we are choosing here. Then we add this other node on message event to listen to the event. To add it here. Event name set colors. And we uncheck this box, so we will be listening to events even if we don't click play here. I forgot to add this. To add it here. Then we are going to add attributes, colors, and type token. Name colors, type token. Okay. Yes, looks good. Then we have the listener and we need to send the message. I'm going to add this outside. It has to need to have the same name as the event that we are listening. So here we put set colors. We need the same name here. And we need to add the same attribute. Token. And then we add a constant token for the name of the color that we want to add. Maybe here. And the name is going to be black, for example, black. These names are case sensitive. Value on the constant token to the colors, yeah. Let's go here. And then this is the listener to our keyboard. We can select any letter, but we are going to select J and uncheck this box for the same reason as before. And once we press it, we execute the event, I believe. Yeah, and that's it. Now, colors, go to variant set name. I think I'm missing this part. So now if I click J, nothing happens. I think J, yeah, now it's happening. Okay, we can make this thing dynamic. It's not the objective of this course. You have already all the tools that you need to modify all this, but basically here you are selecting the color. If I click J again, I'm changing the color So that's how we are making a user interface. And in the next exercise, now we are going to see how we populate this to a web browser. So the next step is going to stream our application into our browser locally. So let's do that. Okay, so the first thing we have to do is to install Node.js if you don't have it yet. I'm leaving here the link. If you have Windows, you can download the installer as I did. And then in PowerShell, you can run this command to be able to recognize NPM. So I'm going to open my PowerShell. And let's check that they have the proper versions. It's running. Okay, then you will need this material, web viewer sample. So this is to be able to uh, run our rendering into our web browser. I have it here in and you have all the libraries that you need to render from our streaming application into our browser. So the first thing you have to do is to open this folder in PowerShell if you are using Windows. So I'm going to copy the path and then run npm install. I already did it, but it's okay. If you have versions above these ones here, you should be okay. And now we run this command. And then we are ready to, if you click here, control click, or you copy paste this address, you will see this. Right now, nothing will happen because we are waiting for something to stream. Oh, why I cannot go back. But now we are going to stream our application. So if we go to our template, I'm going to close this. I'm going to save it. I'm going to save it with a different name. For example. Okay. Then we close that. I'm going to minimize this. I'm opening my Kit application template. I have already created an streaming application, but I'm going to do a new one because I didn't show how to do that in previous videos. So let's go to repo template new. application, use the composer, I want to call it 02. And now here you choose, I want to add application layers. To select these options, we only need the first one for today's tutorial. So I'm going just to select this one, and then click enter. And here we have the streaming one. Then you build the application. And then you can run the application. Because we want to stream into our browser, if you want to save resources and go quicker, you can run this command with no window. So basically, we will be running the application, but we will not be opening the application. We will just stream into our browser. So I'm going to use this. But with the name of the one I just created. And click enter. And then we need to wait for it to be ready. Application is ready and RTX is ready as well. So now let's see if the magic happened. Because we are using use the composer, we choose the second one. And fingers crossed, yes, we are streaming our application into our browser. In future videos, we will see how to, now we are streaming into our local browser, but what is more interesting, of course, will be how to stream into a external browser. So we can open here the one I just created, and it is working exactly as running our application directly. Oh, I'm showing you all my saved folders here. Yes, and even the action graph is still working. So if I click, well, if I go to the, I change the name of the action graph, then, well, if I change here the color of the back, and now if I click J with the keyboard, okay, no hands, nothing happens. Yeah, yeah, sorry. So it's working, all good. And now we will move to the last exercise, which is how to integrate our application into a React-based web application. Let's do that. So the first thing we have to do is the same as we did for the web viewer sample. So we are going to land into the React sample, copy paste, go to PowerShell, Control C to, I have already closed my uh, streaming application and the web page. So now I'm going to land into the React sample. We run the install as well, and I ignore all the warnings, and then we run dep, and here we have our port, and this is our React application. These buttons don't do anything. This is just a template, okay? But now we are going to add functionality to these buttons. Okay, so well, the first thing I have to do is to run again the streaming application. I don't know why I stop it. And then we are going to add the proper functionalities here. So we go to the folder src inside our React sample folder. Go to src and open this file. And look for this variable. Okay, I have already done it, but I think before here was something like localhost. Okay, I just added this so we are locally streaming our application. And then to add functionality to the buttons, we go to Window, and then we search for this. And then in event name, I can't remember what was here before. It's because I already did that yesterday. But basically in event we need to put the same name of the event that we put in our listener event in our use the compose application, and the attribute name as well the same colors. Remember that these are case sensitive. And then we look for color controls, and here okay, we can add a new button. If I go back to the web, you can see here we have only 2 buttons. I'm going to add a new one, which if you remember was blue. Control save, control save. Okay, so now I'm going back to the streaming. So normally when I click white, if I go to the listener graph, open graph, Here we are listening for the event named setColor, and then we are setting the color that we should see here when we click the button. It's not working. It was working yesterday, and must be something very silly. So I will add the solution in the comments once I know what is happening. But if you go to the console here, I'm going to clear the console, you click the button, you can see that we are sending the appropriate event set color, and we are setting the color to black, and here we have the event listener. That maybe it has some communication problem, but we are doing everything correctly, so I don't know what is happening. Yeah, blue, white, or maybe just taking a lot of time. I'm going to leave it sync for a while and I will let you know. But the steps are correct, so something different besides of the development. I will let you know when it's working. But for now, that's all for today. So I hope you enjoyed the video and see you in the next one.